antsy today. Like my feet have been moving. It's not because I'm hosting, but I'm playing with stuff on the table.
Why?
Like I've done this before. It's because College Football 25 comes out today.
Oh, wow.
And I've been waiting a decade for this moment. And, as luck would have it, I got a schedule full of Zooms. It's just like I'm at the final turn. I'm down the stretch.
It's a bad day for you?
And it's just like I got so much stuff to do. I wasn't expecting to sit in this chair today. They're just trying to make this final day as long as possible. But I have the early access. So at 4 o'clock, I will not be watching you and Taylor. I will be building a dynasty for the ages on my own time at home.
Totally understandable.
But you, on our YouTube page, are going to be kind of unboxing this game and experiencing it all in real time with Taylor?
Absolutely. What we're going to do is we're obviously going to play the game, but we're going to take you through all the different settings. We're going to go through all the Road to Glories and Dynasty modes and all the stuff that you can see in the game.
Do all of that?
You're going to go through the settings.
Through it.
The sliders are a big
What
deal.
time's that at?
This guy doesn't get it.
Chris, you've been kind of.
This guy's got a PS1 being like, oh, yeah, I don't play those games.
I
Yeah,
did
he's
just ask
quiet.
Taylor out there. I was like, what are you guys on the PS3? What are you guys cooking with? Apparently they're on the 5.
Yeah, it's hard
I
to
think
get.
I have the 4, actually.
Wow.
So
I'm not sure. I have a PS.
you think?
I got
have
a
the
PS.
original.
I'm not sure which one.
Yeah.
You've kind of not been on board with the talks about college football. So you're just not a gamer at all.
I like college football. I like the old.
No, you don't.
college
No, you
football
don't.
game.
No, you don't.
No,
Because if you liked it, you would be
It's life.
on fire right now.
Yeah.
But
That's
you're not.
funny. You guys talk to. Bet you I beat y'all. Beat y'all.
Okay,
Beat you
cool.
all.
Is that a threat?
Good tough talk.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
I would beat you by 4, Tony.
Okay.
Yeah. Well,
Two
Spread
safeties.
More
what are you
than a
doing?
field goal.
Well, spread would be plus 3.5 for
thankfully,
me.
are you in with us for Tony tonight?
Yeah, I'll be there.
Tony Show Part 2.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because Tony tonight is kind of like confusing.
It is. There's we got a couple things in the oven. Tony Tonight, different story. That's where I go
All
around
right. So
Miami and do
what?
stuff.
All right. So tell me
During the day.
what else we have.
Tony Show Part 2, The Return. We have the Tony Show that happened a couple of months ago.
It's like the Truman Show.
It's like the Truman Show, but this one is different. This one is back to the future because we're doing a couple things different.
And it's Tony.
And it's, well, yeah, of course. But as you can see, Wednesday, July 17th, starting at 7 o'clock p.m., The Tony Show 2 with a bunch of your favorite guests around here. Maybe Chris.
Wow,
Mike Ryan for
Lewis
sure.
made the title. Like Lewis's name up
Lewis,
on the
yeah,
thing.
well, he's Doc Brown in the photo.
Clearly
But
standing on a
really
box.
good, really good graphic though.
I wanted to tell Angel to leave the box that he was standing on, but it didn't. I didn't relay the message as quickly as I should have. But yeah, Tony Show Part 2, Wednesday, 7 o'clock. We're gonna have a lot of fun. We're gonna be playing PS2 games, which is why we're going back
there you go,
to the
Chris.
future.
We're going to be going through all the settings.
Again, you don't get it.
Wait, do I get to play Chris in
What
this
time
thing?
is that at?
That's the settings or the game?
So we're playing a bunch of retro games.
Yeah.
And we actually get to clap back at Chris. Like he's going to be playing games
He's
with us
gonna
too.
he's gonna
I'm
be
in.
there playing.
Whoever wants the noise,
What games
it'll
are we?
be brought.
We've got everything from Madden 07, NCAA Football 2006, which I think is what we're going to start on right there. We've got MVP Baseball. We've got NBA Live 2003.
We got MVP baseball.
All
Chris,
of
I
the
know
retro
MVP.
games.
Dude, MVP, John Dowd, get out of here.
All of the
Love that
retro
guy.
games we have in our arsenal for the Tony Show. Plus, we're going to be doing a best ball draft for the NFL season coming up with DraftKings, which is going to be very exciting.
I'm excited about the best ball draft, but we're going to have like the video game results kind of dictate where we're drafting.
I think so. So
It's only right.
Now, in the settings, are we going to have it where
You're
the
really
clock goes
seasing
really
on the
fast in
settings
between
thing.
plays?
It's
Are we
an
gonna
odd
have
thing to go
normal-
over.
this
Well,
isn't
I mean,
FIFA.
he's-
That's not how it works.
You know what? You know what he's doing? He's not one of the cool kids, and he's trying to make us feel bad about it by seizing on the settings. You're not experiencing today the way that Tony and I are experiencing.
He doesn't
today.
understand like the
This
road
is-
to glory and what that means
What's
and
your-
how we can look through it.
Let's all go around and say our favorite setting. Mike, you first.
But the road to glory has nothing to do with the settings, is what Chris is saying. That's
No,
all.
but
Taylor
there's-
and Tony, they're going to walk us through.
we're going to walk through the settings. There's a lot of different things. Like you can disguise coverages now in NCAA Football 2005, or 2025, excuse me, where you couldn't back in the day, where you could show a cover 2, but actually be in a cover 1 man.
Wow.
So like there's a lot of different things that we can go through.
Ooh,
on
a
the
deke
settings.
play. I know how to show you my deke plays. You think I'm showing you the real play? No. It's a deke play.
personnel subs. I love the personnel groupings. Heisman to answer your question.
Now, if we're looking
sliders
at
on.
if we're looking at depth charts, now I'm in because I love
That's
a good
part
depth
of the
chart.
settings.
That's
and
part of
depth
the-
charts.
that's part of
I
the
am
whole
putting.
tour.
I
All
don't
in the
care how
settings,
low
Chris.
his rating is. My fastest receiver is gonna be in the slot. Shouldn't have said that. Just gave away some of the goods.
I like to put a corner at outside linebacker.
Oh, dude.
You could do that.
That was my move. And the Madden with Vic on the cover, he was unstoppable, right? So what I would do is if you sorted your team by speed, you'd have a lot of dime corners and a lot of like fifth and sixth guys in your secondary. They're speed demons, but they're not seeing the field. So replace your outside linebacker and have them essentially spy on Mike Vick, and that was the way to do it. If you ever really wanted to get crazy, and it depended on the guy that you were playing, if he was a one-trick pony and he was running with Vick the entire time, put Champ Bailey at outside linebacker, and I would spy on Mike Vick, and that was the only way you wouldn't get run all over.
What's this cornerback? You have a 99 speed but a 32 return rating? Well, you're still a returner.
Yeah. Oh, always. Speed would dictate everything. I can make up the other 80%. I can't teach 99 overall speed.
See, I know the game.
It's the issue that we're going to have coming up for the Tony Show Part 2 is the guys that want to play as Michael Vick or Vince Young in the NCAA football game where all they're going to do is run.
Banned.
That guy sucks.
We got to ban Vic.
I think it's Mike Malley, by the way. Mike Malley's that guy because he played me against with Texas the other day. Ended up beating him.
Attaboy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not all-star. So you're unboxing. How long is tonight's you just said that you're going to go through a lot of things.
Today's show, who knows how long it's going to be.
You're just in the menus.
We're just in the menus. We're just looking around. All the new settings. Thank you, Chris. We're going to be playing games. We're going to be just unboxing.
Just want to look at uniform combinations.
I'm telling you, we're going to
hear
hear
the music. I want to hear the music.
It might be 3 hours long. We don't know.
Should we turn home field advantage on or off?
It's always on, baby.
Why
don't
is
even
it
know
always
if that's a
on?
setting.
Why
It
would you
is a
turn it
setting,
off?
which is why we're talking about it.
But why would you turn it off? Neutral fields?
No, we can't do neutral fields. You
No.
got to go home field advantage.
Right.
Plus, you hit the bumpers, and then the crowd gets pumped up, and then we can go through the toughest places to play, 1 through 25.
Oh, dude.
That's always exciting.
Is it going to be jersey numbers or last names?
Lucy, how did you feel about the rankings list for the toughest places to play?
It wasn't accurate because Texas A&M was number 1, and they lose at home all the time. Like, all the time. You lose at home to App State, that's no shade to App State. They're a great team, and you should stop scheduling them. But once you do that, you are no longer the toughest place to play.
There's this dude that works for ESPN Stats, or used to. He came out. He's like, when I was at ESPN, I was trying to actually quantify home field advantage in college football. Is one singular structure more difficult to play in if you're an opposing football team? And what he basically came back with is, if you got a good football team, it's hard to play at that good football team. There's venues that are probably bad right now because their football teams are down bad, that once their team gets good, can be electric and impossible. Look, Miami Hurricanes fans get a ton of. They had the nation's longest win streak at the Orange Bowl. It was one of these places that you could never go in and play.
But that works both ways because I'm guessing when Alabama was bad, Bryant-Denny Stadium was not one of the most feared places to play in the country.
Nick Saban's Alabama.
Now it is.
Nick Saban's Alabama lost at home to UL Monroe.
Yeah.
That was year 1 of the Nick Saban experience. Then, if you ask UL Monroe how it went for them afterwards visiting, they'd probably say pretty tough place to play. So it's all BS. Good football teams have good barns, essentially.
What's the kicking meter going to be?
The kicking meter I've seen is very tough, by the way, because it's one of the ones that are like swishing this way, not the ones that you would go up that way.
You disagree, Lucy, with that?
Yeah, a little, and I'm going to use Iowa as an example, where every year Iowa is the most just like 8-4 team out there, and they always beat some team that is infinitely better than them at home when they're playing at night. It's like a weird thing that's happened when Iowa's a terrible team and they will beat Ohio State by. Iowa
We
beat
saw
Ohio
this with
State by
Purdue.
30 points. Yeah, Purdue is the same way.
Yeah, if you're number 2 in the country and
Yeah.
your night game at Purdue, you're losing.
I do think there are certain venues that have, like, in the certain circumstances where I'm like, I know that team is going to win. So I do think there is something with that. Like, I would say overall, like, there are places that are tougher to play, and I think there's a lot of like validity to if you're a good team, you're going to have a good crowd. But I really do think there's something magical about certain venues and times of day, and I don't know.
No, I get what you're saying, but I also think it's just
Provo on a Saturday night, Mike.
It's
I mean,
but it's
Death Valley
never,
at night with the tiger
I'll tell
going
you,
down the sidelines.
First order of business is not scheduling that for my program. I am not going to Provo. I get you, but it's also like revisionist. There are times where I'm like, wow, there's no team that can come into this stadium and match this energy. We're going to frickin' dominate these guys. And then I'm headed to my car because it's 45-3 Florida State. And that place gets evacuated. If Mario Cristobal and his coaching staff for that game were in charge of the stadium operations yesterday, we would have had no issue. I've never seen so people like on message, ready to go and file out in an organized manner than I did for that FSU game. But then there were also like crazy energies where you're nervous. No one thinks that Notre Dame headed into the turnover chain Notre Dame game, the one game that
night was electric.
There's the one game that Miami Hurricanes fans have over the last decade, which is like, oh, can you imagine the electricity in that place? No one thought we were going to win that game. No one thought that we were going to win that game. And then afterwards you leave, no one was beating us. It was incredible.
No, I think there's something to it, though, in, like, the specific, like, architecture of the stadium, where, like, Penn State is such a tough place to play, even though it has less capacity than Michigan, because you're so close to the field and it's so tall and it traps the sound. Same thing with Washington, where you have the overhang and it traps the sound. I genuinely think there are places that are tougher to play, not only because of the crowd, but legitimately because of the architecture of the stadium. Like, Oklahoma State, I was shocked. It's not a very large stadium, but it's really loud because it's built with brick, and so it traps the sound really nicely. So I definitely think that there are places that are just tougher to play, even if the team may not be as great.
That's why I'm hopeful that if Miami ever has a good team, it could rekindle what was happening in 2017, where people from College Game Day said that's the second loudest place I've ever been to behind Death Valley at LSU.
Yeah, I mean, our stadium constantly feels like and looks like it's going to break, and that's why it's called the Bounce House, because literally it is shaking as people are jumping up and down,
Jeremy,
which is why we feel like there's a big field advantage.
It's legit. Like,
It's
I went there to hand UCF its national championship trophy that we made.
I was there.
College Game Day was there too. I was really impressed with that game day atmosphere.
It was crazy.
I was really scared because I walked through the concourse as the guys were bouncing, and that place was insane.
When you're
that
walking
night.
underneath and you're looking up and seeing the way that the structure is bouncing, they've told us that it's secure. They keep saying that it's fine, but I'm constantly worried that one day it's just all
They
gonna fall
lost to
apart.
West Virginia at home by 14 last year.
UCF?
West Virginia's back.
Didn't they?
Tony,
They weren't good last year.
Tony, what are we
They're
thinking?
winning the Big 12
What
this
are we
year.
thinking for weather?
The stadium's only as good as your
Weather's
team.
always
That's
random.
my point.
Random?
No.
Yeah,
You're
but
gonna
I don't like when snow is happening in like a warm weather city. Like, we
that's
can't
the
have
worst.
warm
Yeah,
with
you
snow
can't do that.
here. You know what I mean?
So we agree.
Unrealistic.
Random. We agree.
Tony Show, Part 2, Wednesday.
So I'm like falling in the trap, and I think it's because I want to avoid the discussion, just because I'm still like woozy from everything that happened over the weekend. It does feel nice to be like doing our normal show, have it be light and funny, and not be constantly reminded about it. But like just during the break right here, Stugotz and I were saying like tonight's kind of a huge night for the country. This is kind of a massive week.
It's a
for the
massive night. It's a
country.
massive opportunity for Donald Trump. I'm actually interested to see if he's going to try to unite this country, if he's going to do what it is that he said he was going to do, which is, and by the way, Donald Trump is a very lucky man today to be alive. And the security breakdowns, we will be looking at those for a long, long time because there were many. But it is an opportunity, and it is going to be interesting to see if Donald Trump indeed tonight tries to unite our country, because he does have the opportunity to do that. I think for a lot
Hopeful.
of people, Mike, I think for a lot of people, half the country, you had, for the first time, there were legitimate reasons. Listen, you could be on any side of the political landscape that you want to be on, okay? That's what our country's all about. But for the first time, I think everyone united in the fact, like, whoa, this is crazy. We have arrived at a crazy place in this country, and Donald Trump and Joe Biden both have the responsibility to try to clean that up. And we'll see if it starts tonight. I'm interested to see.
I think I know the perspective of some people listening to us right now, and they might think like you're foolish if you have certain expectations. I would say that this one's different, and people can remain hopeful. I have tried my best to kind of squelch any of the feelings that I have. Like, okay, so he's going to be presidential today, but will the rhetoric pick up when he starts doing campaign hits afterwards? And I think we have enough of a resume there to have our concern warranted a little bit, but he's never been faced with an assassination attempt where by inches he is still here, and hopefully every side takes an opportunity to kind of tone the rhetoric down, because the political landscape got more and more extreme when the talk around it got more and more extreme. And I do really hope that this is a decompression point for everybody to kind of equalize and realize that we're heading down a path where politically motivated violence is happening more, and that's not the American way. And unfortunately, mass gatherings and violence attached to them has been a staple of American culture. And I really think that this becomes more of an opportunity to do something about gun violence in this country, because we've missed every opportunity we've had in previous years. This is an opportunity to really do something, because there were a lot of good guys with guns there, and a bad guy with a gun almost killed the former president of the United States.
I mean, the fact that a 20-year-old kid can purchase an AK-47, walk through a field, get to a rooftop that's 150 to 200 yards away from a former president and a guy who was running for president, leader of the free world. Yeah. The fact that that can happen in this country...
And spray a crowd. There was someone died from this. Other people got hurt.
Is absurd. The fact that someone in this country can go buy a gun that shouldn't have a gun, that can buy an assault rifle and walk into a school and shoot it up, is absurd. I want to say that the gun laws are going to change in the United States of America, but I think we're all smart enough to realize that they're not. So unfortunately, I do not see that as something that will, be a positive from what happened over the weekend, because there aren't many positives. That would be a positive. I am so doubtful that that's going to happen. Mike, if it didn't stop after Sandy Hook, if it didn't stop after Stoneman Douglas and Parkland, it's not stopping.
No.
I'm fearful that it will.
Well, hopefully it doesn't take like a president dying. Thankfully, he survived this attack on his life. You would think that, look, I'm here. I survived this. This is an opportunity to do something, because if anyone can roll into a secured location and feel like this isn't going to happen, it's the former president of the United States. It's been several years since there has been an assassination attempt on one of our leaders over here on the highest office. There have been other government officials that have fallen victim to this. If the former president himself is falling victim to a mass shooting, this would be something, conventionally speaking, that you could reach across the aisle and get bipartisan support for. And it would be really disheartening to hear someone he's a victim in this, someone that was a victim of gun violence, kind of still cape up for it when, again, a lot of good guys with guns over there. I do hope that that's the opportunity. My expectations, just knowing what the company line has been from political leaders on that side of the aisle, I don't really have great hopes and expectations for that. But one thing that can change today is the political discourse and our approach to it. It's a time for civility. It's a time to tone down the rhetoric. I really hope that there aren't attacks vocal attacks that just galvanize and get people more and more extreme on their beliefs. I do think it's an opportunity to bring people together.
And sadly, this is something that happens. It's commonplace throughout the world, right? Like Mexico had an election where they had, I think, 30 candidates assassinated, right? Like Haiti's prime minister was killed, right? Like Japan, there's been a lot of this throughout the world, and it's scary to see it now in the United States, where the last time we saw it was 40 some odd years ago. So it's like things are changing, and hopefully, like Mike, you said, this can be like a stopping point for everybody to say, like, all right, we can't let this get too out of hand. This is insane.
It's a gun issue. I know it's a headline grabber. There was an assassination attempt on a president, but it is, and a lot of people want to politicize this. How can you not when there's an attempt on a political leader's life? But again, there was a large gathering of people in a really secure location, and still an assault rifle made its way on the periphery and affected that event. And one person died, several others were hurt, including the former president, and I really hope that things change. So I wanted to keep all the Trump and conversation around the weekend on the front end on its island, because I don't know how to transition out of that. And yet here I am having to do a segment and transition out of that.
Totally on me, because I didn't think you probably thought there's no way Stu wants to go for a second round of this.
No.
But I did.
I wanted to start with another pop culture conversation, because Chris, you really lashed out at us for liking this college football game, and you weren't a part of the conversation. You're not part of the excitement. That's all right. I'm with Tony on that level. But while we were having that conversation on one end of the room, there was another conversation revolving another pop culture moment happening on the other side of the room. And I guess I'm the Venn diagram, at least in this office, of someone that's into both discussions. I'm talking, of course, about Katy Perry's new single.
Lucy and I have been working on a transition from the Trump conversation to the Katy Perry conversation, and it had to do with ears bleeding because Katy Perry's new single is an absolute disaster. It is a horrible song, and the pandering within this song, Woman's World, that it somehow is the most like reductive version of feminism that anyone's ever seen.
It sounds like AI. ChatGPT came up with like a women's rights song.
It sounds like a song that would be played as free use music that you download to play like on a reality show during a changing scene.
This is the meanest Jeremy's ever been.
It is
torching her.
horrible. It's one of the worst songs I've ever heard. And it's already gone through the cycle of being a meme and then going away because that's how bad it is. It's not even the type of bad that you can laugh at. It's so bad that no one even wants to listen to it.
Morbius bad, Madam Web
Yes.
bad, in which like it becomes a meme, but still no one will financially support this, and it won't actually gain pop culture traction because no one wants to actually experience the
Yeah,
art.
Katy Perry's had absolute hits over the years, and she was someone who was able to like have this fun kind of tongue-in-cheek way of writing pop music before. This is produced by Dr. Luke, who, you know, if you don't know, is just kind of a monster within the music industry. And the idea that he was behind this song that's supposed to be sort of women's empowerment,
he
the
and
music
6
video
writers.
is insane. He and 6 writers. I mean, Lucy, the music video is out of control.
So I watched the music video a couple times, which has destroyed my YouTube algorithm, but I'm going to explain the music video to you. I don't know if we want to play it at the same time, but I honestly think it's funnier without the
We're going to play the
explanation.
B-roll. We're not going to play the music.
Okay, so basically, Katy Perry shows up and she's dressed as Rosie the Riveter, but like a hot Halloween costume. And her and these girls are pissing in urinals, and they're working on construction sites, and they're singing about women. And they're like, "We're the best, we're the women, and we piss in these urinals." Then she turns into a deflated balloon. Then she blows herself back up, and then she starts walking. And then she comes on this like dystopian sort of like destroyed society.
Whoa, where's
and
that
there's,
going?
Like there's like a
fuels her
gay
ass
couple
up.
making out, and you're like, why are you here? This is a woman's world. And then she gets a gas pump and she puts it in her butt cheek and she starts filling up her butt cheek with gas, I'm assuming. And then she goes and Trisha Paytas shows up, who's like a weird TikTok-y influencer, and they start driving this monster truck and she's putting on makeup, and you're like, what happened with the gas pump, though? Like, what was the purpose of that? Because she already blew herself up when she was a deflated balloon. But then she shows up at this girl's house, and this girl's house says she's, like, filming a TikTok. And Katy Perry's like, I'm going to film this TikTok with you. And then she films the TikTok. And then the girl's like, oh, my God, I just filmed a TikTok, but has no idea who Katy Perry is. Then Katy Perry steals her phone and a ring light, and she goes and hops on a helicopter. And the girl's like, what are you doing? That was my TikTok. And who are you? And then she's like, I'm Katy Perry. And then she flies off on a helicopter. But she's, like, hanging off the side of it the whole time. And that is feminism.
Is it safe to say that this is satire? Because I saw the video for the first time today, and I thought I kind of knew what she was going for. And her career, she's done a lot of satirical stuff. Like, she burst on the scene with "I Kiss a Girl" and I liked it, and like the video, like it was kind of parodying the times.
It was satire, and you always know satire is really good when you have to come out later with a video and be like, hey guys, this was satire. So they released a video of her in her Rosie the Riveter outfit being like, that was satire, which like it was obviously satirical, but the thing with like satire is that I don't think you can half-ass it or like half gasoline butt cheek
Half
ass it.
gasoline ass.
But the song itself is terrible, and it's not satire. She's like really was like very proud of
The
this
song is very bad.
The song is a
The
really,
lyrics
really
are
bad
just
song,
rough.
and the lyrics, like I saw someone comment that it was like if a bunch of men came together and wrote a song about women, and it's also like you could tell that it was like something they tried to pitch for the Barbie movie, and they were like, we don't want this.
Yeah, it's like,
this is not
it's straight to
what we want.
DVD Barbie.
Yeah, really
soundtrack.
bad. And so the satire doesn't work when the song isn't satirical, even though if the song had been satirical, she might have done something.
Yeah,
She might have like cooked with this like Ray Dunn feminism.
Yeah, because like the video, I understand what she's going for, but I'm listening to the music as a video is playing, and I'm like, there's nothing of substance here. It's just a bunch of like rallying cries that you've seen like on sale at Walmart. which he even pokes fun at in the video, like the live, laugh, love stuff. Like, I get that, but why isn't the song at all interesting?
The song is straight up bad, and I think it's probably worth noting that like this song was supposed to be a feminist like anthem, and the guy who produced it, Dr. Luke, is alleged to be have done some very bad things to women.
Wait, so you said she flew away on a helicopter?
She did, and the girl was like, "Who are you?" And I said, "You guys just filmed the whole TikTok together, and you didn't even learn who each other like were." And then Katie said, "I'm Katy Perry."
Well, she's holding a female ring light.
Yeah.
Was she holding from a ladder? I've always
Yeah,
wanted
she was,
to.
like, half
I've
on
always
the
wanted to
ladder.
do a getaway on a helicopter where I'm attached to the ladder. Was that from Batman?
It
Was
was
Batman?
Batman,
Yeah, the shark repellent.
Yeah.
Where he has a shark attached
You
to his
wanted
leg.
to do that.
I've
huh?
always thought if I was ever gonna make a getaway from a helicopter, I'd want to do it from a
That's
ladder.
the way to do it, right? Yeah.
Put the town on alert. Limited fake Pierce Brosnan from Dante's
It's not
Peak.
bad.
It's a vibe.
Hasn't this song debuted at like #1? Like it's atop all the charts.
That's how this
no?
works.
No, it's fallen out of the charts, off the charts. What's the term? I don't know.
I think off the charts.
off the charts. It's not on.
That's
the
how you know
charts
something
anymore.
is really
Off
bad.
the charts is a good thing.
That's how you know something is really
yeah,
bad.
It's not,
It is a
yeah,
good thing.
whoa.
Right, that's off the
It's not
charts.
off the charts in the
Right.
good way. It's off the charts in a bad way. And I would say listen to the song if you want to experience it for yourself. But I care about the listeners of the show, so don't listen to the song and then thank me later one day when you're walking through a Kmart and you hear it.
So you don't think it's going to have a second life because like everybody laughing at it? That this is? Do you guys remember when the internet had convinced movie execs that people actually wanted to see Morbius? Like, no, like you just released it at the wrong time. We are ready now because the memes were so good for Morbius. Do us a favor and please re-release this. And then even fewer people saw it.
The only version that I can imagine this becomes popular is if there becomes a trend on TikTok where it's like people showing their cat and it's like the lyrics are sexy, confident, so intelligent, she is heaven sent, so strong, so soft. That might work if you're just showing a video of your adorable cat or dog or pet of some kind, and maybe it trends and as a meme becomes something. But I don't even know if this is going to be one of those ones that gets a second life because people are making fun of it. I think it's just going to become irrelevant pretty quickly.
Honestly, with like the events of the weekend, like it's gone. Like there's just no way it's going, because that was like the funny thing that everyone was talking about.
Like we could
Then
actually enjoy
yeah.
this light conversation making fun of this.
Then the shooting happened, and it was like, all right, we're done. And I don't think it's going to make a return. And she has been like promoting this for a long time, and it was just not very good. And I would say try again, but if it's going to be like the first time, maybe just don't.
It definitely missed its window because after 4 p.m. Eastern today, nothing else exists other than CFB 25.
Wait, Lucy, are you telling her to retire? Like,
No,
don't
I'm
ever
just
try
saying.
another
It's
song
a
again?
bad
Play the
it's a bad.
hits.
She kind of this
You
was
can't go out on that though.
so this was supposed
Everyone's
to be
going to forget about it.
this was supposed to be a comeback record for her because I know
Yeah.
she was doing like the Idol stuff, but in terms of like being an active pop star with active hits, she was doing like a nostalgia tour residency in Las Vegas. She needed
Look, she has a new
a hit.
album coming out. There's a chance that one of the other singles is better, and the marketing team just made a horrible decision on choosing this as the first one. But this is not the way you want to come
It's
back
hard to
if you're
come back
making
from
a
that.
comeback. It's really bad.
It's really hard, especially like when you're of a certain age, when you go away for a while. Fergie did this. Fergie had huge hits, left the Black Eyed Peas, was a big star in her own right, went away for a little bit, tried to come back with a stinker of a single, and out of it.
National anthem.
And Katy Perry was like in a run of incredible female pop music in like 2008, 2009, 2007, where it was Rihanna and Beyonce and Taylor Swift and Katy Perry and Lady Gaga all at like the early points of their careers. But now we're in a new run with a new generation of female pop music with Sabrina Carpenter and Chappell Roan and Olivia Rodrigo, who are all young
I knew two
and
out of
just
those
putting
three.
out hits, like absolute bangers. And it's going to be a lot tougher for
Does Sabrina have like an album, or does she just put out a new single every 3 weeks?
Presently, she has 2 singles out that are both, I believe it was, she had the #1 single in America with Espresso, and then she topped herself with Please, Please, Please.
Yeah, I was driving from
That
Reno.
song's great.
I was driving from Reno to Tahoe, and I heard
That's
Sabrina
a drive.
I heard Sabrina Carpenter on the same station 3 different times. It was Kiss FM in
Don't
LA.
embarrass me, mother. Sarah Carpenter song.
Are you saying in a
Banger.
1 hour drive that song was played 3 times, same station?
No, it wasn't the same song. It was a
Sarah.
different song, and I knew Espresso because that's been pretty unavoidable.
Yeah, that song was huge. That's like a song of the summer type song.
Tony, it's Sabrina, not Sarah.
Of course, Sabrina Carpenter.
Thanks for correcting Tony on that one. Did you actually consume any good pop art late over the weekend?
Yeah,
or was it all just like Katy
Well, I
Perry?
went and saw I saw Longlegs, the new horror movie with
Oh,
Nicolas
dude.
Cage.
Yeah, I definitely want to see that. I've been busy. I wanted to get around to it, and now I'm never going to do anything ever again because college football 25 comes out today. But how is that?
So first of all, really, really good movie. If you're
By
in,
Neon, that's a good. They're kind of A24. They
Yeah.
come out with good stuff.
Well, and the big thing that I think a lot of people have realized now is if you market these movies well, you can have huge opening weekends.
Did it have
Because
a big one?
It shattered all of the expectations. I think it made 22 million, and they projected that it would make 8 million.
Whoa.
A very, very creepy movie. Nick Cage is pretty horrifying to watch, but what's been really fun about
Is it still perfect on Rotten Tomatoes?
I don't know if it still is at the
86%.
moment.
Oh, really?
86%. It did make $22.6 million.
Right, which is crazy. And it was all seemingly because of the marketing, because I know Lucy was saying earlier, like she's seen a lot on TikTok about it. That's where I saw what was going on, as did my wife. And what's really funny, and I know we have it available for video at some point, but like their Twitter presence and their graphic design has been great too, because they're acknowledging what a big movie it's been, but they also had a graphic that was marketing the movie saying #1 movie in America, and then in small print after Despicable Me 4. And just like for a horror movie, the tweet says Hail Satan, and it has this horrifying image of like the shadow of Nick Cage's character, and then it has after Despicable Me 4 on it. And it's just priceless, but the way that they've marketed it, it had a huge opening weekend, and it's not a jump scare horror movie as much as it's like a psychological thriller that's going to leave you a bit disturbed.
That's
and
my favorite
I really
type.
enjoyed it.
Have you ever watched Hereditary?
I haven't. That's one that I really want to.
Hereditary
Because
for
of
me-
this,
Didn't that
I
change
now
your
have a
life?
list that I'd really like to watch.
Hereditary is like, for my money, the scariest movie I've ever seen. It's the greatest horror movie ever. That's #1. Exorcist is #2. And while those movies did have jump scare elements to it, it was all about those movies stayed with you. I'm a huge Nicolas Cage guy. And I wanted to see this movie
His
because
performance
anytime
is-
horror movies get like at a time this had 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, like okay, this is going to be something that you're going to want to see. It's just a matter of getting out there. So maybe when CFB 24, when CFB 25 becomes CFB 26, and that like 2 weeks prior, I can actually make some time in my social life for this. It seems pretty dynamite over there. The one thing that I did see on social media promoting this movie was really effective in that it was tracking the actress's heart rate when she sees Nicolas Cage's character, and in real time, like it jumps
It's like
up.
170 beats per minute or
Yeah,
something.
I'm like, source, just trust me, pal. But
My Apple
it was
Watch.
it was effective in getting me
Every
to it.
actor in this movie did a fantastic job. Like
Yeah.
that's the other part, is there are several great performances, and the people who needed to be disturbed by Nick Cage's character sure as heck felt like it, and the people who needed to stay steady felt authoritative, and it just everybody really was cast very well. But the way they told the story was interesting. And actually, the director of this movie is a guy named Oz Perkins. But what's crazy about that is
What else has Oz Perkins done?
So not only was he
Goes around to teams and does the...
the nerdy guy
Mentalist thing?
in Legally Blonde, but his dad played Norman Bates in the original Psycho.
Oh yeah,
So his father was Psycho, and now he is writing and directing horror movies himself, which is just a kind of creepy connection. Their whole family history, if you want to go down a rabbit hole on Wikipedia, his mom was on a plane that was hijacked in 9/11. His dad played Psycho and had a whole crazy backstory. Now he's making these horror movies. It is a fascinating cast of characters in real life, but this movie it's worth seeing. Like,
Yeah.
if you're into that type of movie, it's
I
certainly
am,
worth
and
it.
I'm super like. Nicolas Cage has kind of become a joke, but Nicolas Cage has taken roles for a lot of different reasons, a lot of financially motivated reasons.
Mostly money, Mike.
But if the script is good and it demands a good performance, Nicolas Cage has shown with movies like in Pig and whatnot that he can meet the script with a performance and knock it out the park. And that's great because at this stage in his career, most people consider him like an overacting joke.
His final scene on screen is one of the truly most disturbing things that I've ever seen.
Did you say overactor?
Mike said overactor, and then I
Right.
think it's from
Liar, Liar.
Liar, where someone calls
I'm
him
concerned because you guys, I was kind of sold on at least trying the movie out. It's 86 Rotten Tomatoes, 86%, but that's critics. The fans have it at like 62%.
That's
and
because
that
they're getting
concerns
scared.
me.
That's because they're getting scared.
Right.
Yeah, but that concerns me. I trust the fans more than the critics.
Yeah, but if that metric was around when people were passing out and vomiting while watching The Exorcist,
Right.
I imagine didn't have a good time. Someone yacked all over my food. Didn't have a great time. Like someone had an emotional breakdown because I was eating popcorn and this girl starts projectile vomiting and does something with a crucifix that I wasn't expecting. Like I can understand why the audience would be like less inclined to give
And there
something
are
a positive
some
review.
religious undertones in this one too that might isolate certain people who went in with one expectation and then end up coming out with, "Hail Satan," as it says on Twitter. So, that might upset some
So
folks.
definitely watch it.
I would say it's worth watching. Especially, you're such a big Nick Cage fan
Yeah.
that his performance it's crazy. And I was really blown away because of some of the things that everybody feels about Nicolas Cage at this point in his career. I was really impressed by the way that he met this creepy character in the place exactly where it needed to be.
Maybe make some time for it during the off season when I'm, you get your
Twister
crew.
double feature.
On the flight to go recruit a 5-star?
Yeah, you can DM them sometimes, so I think I'll maybe I can do that because I work at the group's pace because you do your off season all together. I got 7 dudes in my online Dynasty.
Oh, we have 30 something.
Yeah,
Charles
can't do
McDonald,
that.
friend of the show.
There's no way that's gonna fall apart. I'm telling you right now because you all it's gonna be impossible to get 30 people on the same schedule to do the off season. You're just signing up for a mess.
Tony.
6, 7's the right number.
What difficulty are we looking at, Tony? You thinking Heisman, All-American?
I think All-American is what the online regular.
You got to go Dynasty.
Start off with Heisman and just have sliders up.
Don't you work your way up to Dynasty? I mean,
When Dynasty is
No,
what
Dynasty
you
is
do.
what you start year
Heisman is
one.
where you
I'm
Difficulty
trying to run a
level.
tight
Up to,
program.
yeah.
settings.
in the settings. Yeah. That's why I need to go over the settings so people like you can understand.
And
where
you have to,
put stuff
and
in.
you're online.
you. I'm
do you
there
have,
now.
Do you have rules for prestige?
We have rules coming. We're figuring that out.
No, you can't have
He's
anybody
heard of
try to
them.
start a dynasty with Alabama. Get the F out of here. You're starting-
Taylor might be starting with Alabama. I
No,
don't
you
know.
can't do that.
He might be.
Cheater! No,
He
prestige, 3 stars and below. What are you
Might be. He
doing?
might be. I don't know.
Dan will be back in tomorrow. Obviously jet lagged from a trip over in Africa, but full cast in with the whole show. Back as you loved it, like it never left. Back tomorrow.
He should try this fear on for size. I mean, Jesus Christ, he's jet lagged.
But our coverage does not stop just because Dan is not here. We've got Amin and Juju out at Summer League doing all the hard work for Oddball. It is presently really hot in Las Vegas. The forecast, I think I saw, is 107 degrees out there. Amin properly in really cool Rocky Balboa shorts. We like that. Well, those are the Apollo Creed shorts before you correct
Creed
me.
shorts that he gave to Rocky, correct?
Yes, yeah. And then Rocky takes it when he fights for his dear friend's honor in Rocky IV, where
he kicks Drago's ass.
ends the Soviet Union.
yes.
It's just an incredible film. Amin
Brought the
Al-Hassan.
entire country together, Mike.
It really did, and we
yes.
can use something
Yes.
that galvanizes us right now.
Yes.
Before CFB 25 comes out, I may watch Rocky 4, and that's it. That's it. I'm done. But Amin is out there covering Summer League with Juju Gotti and Oddballs doing great stuff out there. Welcome aboard, Amin. How are you doing in this heat?
My idiot producers will say, hey, we're going to do the hit, but we're not going to do it from inside of the set. We're going to do it outside on Fremont Street to let everybody know you're in Vegas. Hello, I don't need to prove that I'm in Vegas. I'm just here. And as I'm here, as I said, it's ridiculously hot. It is so hot. I got Juju out here making breakfast. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It's so hot you can fry an egg
Wow.
and bacon.
Oh my gosh, we're doing the morning show gag.
Wow.
Yeah, where you show the local news gag where you show how hot it is by grilling. Are you actually gonna? That's on a pan. Are we actually gonna eat this?
This is real deal breakfast. This is our breakfast. Juju's responsible for it. And guess what? The way it's cooking, I better hope I like my eggs over well done because they know over easy. He's over here, ladies and gentlemen.
Is
that turkey
Is
bacon?
it already? Is it already like bubbling? How long is the frying pan been out on the
Let's pan back to the
sidewalk
pan.
over there? Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we pan to the pan
Well,
real quick?
Absolutely, we could pan to the pan. The frying pan's been out here a little bit before we let Juju wait
Oh my
until the start of
God.
the segment. There you go. Look at it.
He's scrambling them. I mean,
Yeah.
Fortunately for Bronny James, he's got some egg on his face. A lot of outsized attention to Bronny James, but this is what he asked for, and the performances have not exactly blown folks away. I mean, what do you make of the whole Bronny James thing?
Mike, I could not disagree more. I saw, I'm a basketball expert. I watch players. I see the things that you as a casual layperson do not see. And so what I did was I had our crack research staff, not to be confused with our research staff on crack, put together a little highlight reel of all the things that Bronny has been amazing at Summer League. Roll it. All right, guys. Bronny exhibits so many things, veteran savvy. Look at the way he's sitting on the bench, man. Like, most rookies don't sit at that kind of level. He's got a great ability to sit on the sideline. He's got that. Look at that focus in the stare. Also, very important, confidence. Hold that follow-through up, buddy. Don't let these people know that you can or can't shoot. And what's up? You turn it over, what do? You go back and you get it. You fix your mistakes. You wipe up that spilled milk, and then you spill some more milk. That's what you do. That's an NBA player. And, of course, a nose for the ball. Look at this. Some might say this is an uncontested rebound. I say he noticed it before anybody else. He went up there and got it. Let's show it one more time. And finally, that touch from outside. I know a lot of people say, he's one for eight. No. Look at that follow through. Look at that. Oh, we'll slow down for you guys with a face on it. That was a made shot right there. You cannot deny Bronny James, NBA caliber player.
Beyond Bronny, is there anything actually of note going on at Summer League? Because, I mean, I'm getting ESPN mobile alerts anytime he gets blown by an opposing player. It's the Bronny mania is probably a little too much, and the play doesn't dictate all this coverage, but I understand why we're there. Is there anything actually worth talking about, though?
Well, I got to tell you guys right now, we're about 3 years away from changing the name of the NBA to l'Association de Basket du National du Américain, because it's nothing but French players taking over. Alexander Sarr, Zachary Richarchet. The list is endless of French nationals who are out here dominating at Summer League. Other than that, to be honest with you, I could talk about Reed Shepherd. I could talk about, Stephon Castle, some of these other guys out here. But really, all I want to talk about how hot it is. It is so freaking hot. I'm getting sunstroke out here. I'm trying to stay hydrated. It's not working very well. Let's check on Juju how good the breakfast is going. Oh.
Wow.
Is that an omelet?
That is, where do you get all the fixins for it? That is actually that is a legitimate breakfast place skillet right there.
Cook it.
That is.
Juju Gotti is a professional, ladies and gentlemen. When you put him on scene, on location, he doesn't just come empty-handed and say, hey, what do I do? Where's my mark? He's out here coming with his own reserves. And I won't lie, man. I'm not a pork eater, but that thing looks pretty good.
Like, he's really dressed it up for folks. Like, he's not half-assing it.
We got hash browns, too. We got tomatoes, mushrooms, all types of stuff. We got people stopping in the middle of the street because they're so impressed by Juju's cooking skills right here in sunny Las Vegas. Ladies and gentlemen, they tell you that when it's 118 degrees, you can't really do much. Guess what you could do? You could make a hell of a breakfast at 9 in the morning.
Wow, let's zoom in on that. That looks
amazing.
legitimately delicious.
Yeah. I mean, is that a drink from Fat Tuesdays? I mean,
this is it looks like a Fat Tuesday drink, but it is a generic Las Vegas drink. This is the classic Vegas. You come here, you land, Stu, you throw your stuff in the room, you come back down outside and you say, hey, I'm thirsty. I'm on Fremont Street. I need me a beverage. They say, do you want the 12 ounce, do you want 32 ounce, or do you want the hand grenade? And I said, give me a hand grenade.
Who is most likely to receive a $115 million extension by the Miami Heat?
Let me tell you something. The Williams kid for the Heat. Hey, man, I don't know if it's 115 million. That guy's pretty good. He's grown manning the hell out of everybody. He's dunking on people. I think he's got that nasty streak that Miami's been looking for. Now, can he be someone who contributes offensively meaningfully, which is what we talk about so many times? The Heat need offense? I don't know, but I know one thing. They know when to punk him out. He's going to be punking people out left and right.
A lot of deals are made and a lot of groundwork for future deals. is laid. What are you hearing? You are our front office insider. Are there any rumblings? Me as a Heat fan, I'm always hoping that there's another malcontent superstar on the horizon. Is there something a brewing?
Tell you what's a brewing. One of them, everybody knows. If you follow NBA basketball, you know Lauri Markkanen, a lot of trade chatter. Well, the state's interested, a lot of other teams are interested. And Utah, for its part, does not look like it wants to be good. That's going to be a theme this year. We took a year off from teams tanking on purpose because the draft, as we know, wasn't that impressive. But Cooper Flag is the big, get. Capture the flag. That's the theme for 24-25 next season. So everyone's starting right now like, hey, I want to be bad. Detroit's like, I want to be bad. Washington's like, I want to be bad. And I believe Utah says, dude, I want to be bad because a white superstar in Utah is
they want to trade a white all-star on the off chance that they can get the white superstar coming into the league. Like Lauri Markkanen's like we know who he is. That's a solid piece to build around,
yeah,
but you got no
Cooper
shot.
Flag,
yeah,
man.
You've got no
He's
shot
American.
at getting Cooper. Yeah, Cooper Flag is worthy of the hype. We've seen all the other pros talk about him on the international team. What is your main takeaway of how all these other pros are talking about him?
Well, I mean, I think that's a big deal that he went to the Team USA kind of camp. He played for USA Select. He's the only, let alone college player, he's the only high school player in the entire outfit. And again, a lot of plays from the pros, from the vets on the main team and also the select team. He was voted the best player on the select team by the players. That's a big deal for a 17-year-old. Look, is he going to be the next coming, the savior? At this point, it's hard to say. But we know one thing about the NBA. If there's a white savior out there, we're going to find him, and we're going to give him every opportunity to prove us right.
Jordan Miller, I saw in college down here in Miami, his game kind of reminded me a little bit of Paul George, and it's a lofty expectation to think he can slot in at all. But it looks like they might have a regular NBA player. Who else is impressing out there that is more of a project than someone that's just starting out in the league?
Well, I could talk about projects, but I think you guys would rather hear about the other trade rumbling. You want to hear what's happening. When I go to the Tower Suites bar at Wynn, what the NBA people are all murmuring about that hasn't really been talked about a lot in public is the Houston Rockets with their extension for Alperen Sengun. Talks have hit a stall, and there is chatter, murmuring, rumblings. Stugotz, you pick one of the ones of those words that you like there about Sengun being available. And this is a guy, if you're like, who's that? Ladies and gentlemen, last season in Houston, he took a huge step under his first year under Ime Udoka. This is a guy that had Jokic-esque moments of being a hub for the Houston Rockets offense. I think they played a lot better once they realized Jalen Green's a nice player, but your main best player is Sengun. So if he's available, like I'm hearing kind of shakings and kind of conjecture
Shakings is not one of them.
Right.
No, shakings is conjecture.
Sue's got one for you.
I prefer scuttlebutt. Scuttlebutt.
Scuttlebutt.
Yeah.
Scuttlebutt actually is the perfect word. There's a lot of scuttlebutt that he might be available. And if he is, it'd be very interesting to see where he lands because this is a guy who can tip the balance of power wherever he lands in the NBA.
So this is a busy time in the NBA calendar. While other sports are slowing down, this is where the offseason chatter really starts ramping up. And for Oddball and your cast and crew, you've got Olympic basketball to talk about. It is a really exciting time. Team USA is going to have some competition, a lighter group for them to get out of in the Olympics. Mm-hmm. But I'm excited to hear your coverage all offseason. And I know Juju's a part of what you're doing there. He just made a hell of an omelet. Where's Charlotte?
Well, guys, I actually have a little bit of sad news. All the excitement and the hoopla here at Fremont Street. Charlotte was here. Unfortunately, she didn't really make it. The heat, I guess, got to her a little bit. We got a shot over here. I'm not quite sure what happened to her shorts. Guess she's just wearing that Tatum jersey. But yeah, Charlotte, gone but not forgotten.
I was always worried about her complexion in that heat. It was not going to go well for her.
Mike, I got to go back to these producers, man. Who the hell do you guys have me working with? I'm out here. It's 125 degrees. I'm wearing layers. This drink doesn't even have ice in it. It's just lukewarm. Charlotte's freaking melted in a puddle like the Wicked Witch of the West. Yeah. Why are we doing this outdoors? I thought we had this whole relationship with Beeson and Circa and where it's this beautiful kind of thing where you guys did the show during the Super Bowl. Why am I outdoors doing this?
At least you have an omelet, though. I mean,
I'm such a fan of Con Air that I just wanted you stage steps away from where Cyrus the Virus was decapitated.
That is a great moment in movie history, but also you're right, Stugotz. Juju Gotti, not only a great content provider, but also a great chef. This is great breakfast right here, ladies and gentlemen.
It's amazing.
Oddball, check it out all off season long. Lots of Olympic basketball for them to cover. Rest in peace, Charlotte Wilder.
And you're getting kicked out right over your right shoulder right now.
Oh my God!
Who are you working with?
Taylor, you gotta outlaw anybody with over 3 stars of prestige.
They're also doing custom conferences too, where it's like.
But that's part of the fun. Whoa, out the gates are starting custom conferences. This is not real life. What are you doing?
We got to do a show Dynasty.
We live in a society.
I'll do a show Dynasty, but you have to have fucking rules.
Are you saying you
I'm not gonna-
from the SEC put in the Big Ten?
Right now, what you're saying, that zero interest in. You guys are not serious people.
Tony as LSU and like the ACC.
No.
It's like,
Stop taking liberties with the sport.
You are not serious people. I can't work with this.
LSU could never be in the ACC.
No, that's what.
I mean, the Astros could never be in the American League. What are we doing?
We said that about Cal. They could never be in the ACC. And in real life, we are here.
You got to have like a respect for the forefathers that came before you. Everyone still talks about their online dynasties, and you never hear about, man, I took this ragtag group from Alabama and the Tide finally made it to the top. No, you don't do that. Coach Doug's becomes a phenomenon because he's doing it at the grassroots level. He did it at Toledo.
He's a forefather.
You got to do it at
So what if we do show Dynasty?
You guys are too young. I said it. You're too young. You didn't put it in the
MAC. We're all the teams in the MAC. Only MAC.
Yeah, only MACtion. I'll join that. I'll do that show, Dynasty. We start in the MAC. And if, in year 3, Central Michigan gets an offer from the Big Ten, great. That's fine. You earned it. But you got to fucking earn your prestige,
I had like
guys.
the 28th pick. Nobody picked LSU. I picked LSU.
Nobody picks LSU because they're decent human beings,
No, all
pal.
the other teams were taken already.
No, you don't do that. LSU is not. You don't consider LSU. You consider Western Kentucky. That's what you do.
My second choice was Hawaii.
The Hilltoppers.
I don't know what their prestige is at. Hawaii's a fine place to start. It's hard to recruit and tons of uniform combinations.
Tough place to
you
play.
get that
Place to play.
you get that program going. It's going to be tough to leave.
A lot of
you may
TV
get an
time, last
Yep.
game of the night.
You may get an offer from the Pac-12. They're looking to expand. There are only 2 teams. They have open bars. They're looking. You can build something special
I had
out
to
at
keep
Hawaii.
up with the Joneses, Mike. That's why.
You don't. At some point, someone has to rise up above the chaos and say what needs to be said. You can't have blue chip programs.
Somebody picked Texas. Somebody picked Georgia. SC.
That person is
Miami.
not. They're not enjoying the game. Look, I'm going to have my Miami dynasty like everybody else, but that's not going to be publicized. That's for me. I'll start there. I know I can build Miami into a winner. I got a great recruiting base. I got the facilities.
You're literally doing it right now.
I'm doing it right now in real life. I can certainly do it in a video game. I like my chances more in a video game. That's not going to be rewarding. What's going to be rewarding to me is taking Toledo, is taking Central Michigan. Can you imagine, like, the Chippewas being the second name someone talks about when they're talking about great college football programs? Wolverines, Crimson Tide, Chippewas. That's what I want. That's where the wins are.
Do it with the Chippewas.
To have
You're right. I'm agreeing with
Who
you.
picks Texas? Texas is you
Who did
retired.
pick Texas? I don't know who picked Texas.
You retired.
Charles.
You can get Texas after 16
Charles
years of
picked
your
Georgia.
dynasty. You can't do that.
He did it.
You can't. Georgia State you can do. Georgia State, now that is a pearl. You're in a major city, direct flights. You get Georgia, which is up there with Florida now in terms of a hotbed of recruiting. That's fine. Georgia State, great.
What if Taylor dresses like Bear Bryant, though, for the streams?
You have to dress.
that helps.
Your coach, does your coach have your same name? Taylor, does your coach have your same name? You got to create an avatar.
Taylor's
said
not
no.
in
He
here.
said no.
I mean,
You got to create an avatar. My head coach is Cameron Poe, and he looks just like Cameron Poe from Con Air.
Hell yeah.
He's got. Can you imagine going into like Nevada?
Coach
you look to
Virus.
the sideline and you see like Cameron Poe with a Nevada Wolfpack visor. I'd be scared.
Taylor said he's going to buy the Bear Bryant hat.
He's gonna
Because
have the
he's out. You
houndstooth hat.
earn it. You got to make your own thing, pal.
Where are you going to find that hat? I mean,
It's just a fedora, right?
You gotta.
Houndstooth.
It's a special kind of fedora.
You can't swagger Jack Bear
You're not gonna
Bryant,
find
dude.
it. I mean, seriously.
You got to make your own hat.
Right. Anyway.
Was that post game?
You want to impress me?
I have no idea what it
You
was.
want to impress me? Get one of those like little like yarmulkes with the spinner on top.
Yeah. I know
Yeah,
what
that you
mean.
see on like Spanish TV and whatnot on late night variety shows. Wear that on the sidelines, and you can make that a thing. Because if you're successful, you can make anything a thing. Just
He
ridiculous.
should do the Al
Children.
Golden.
Make
suit
me
and
take
tie.
you seriously in that hat. I like that. It's the hat from Animal House, if anyone wants to look it up.
I'm sickened by what I heard. Who would want it? 30 people, too. Like, this thing is over before it gets going. You're not going to enjoy this.
Look, I'm gonna enjoy it because of the game. I'm gonna enjoy it, but I'm also gonna have my own team where I'm gonna play as Hawaii or I'm gonna play as somebody else that I'll bring them up to prominence.
I'm sad that you're enjoying it. Do it with Bowling Green. That's fun. It's not fun. It's not fun.